GTA 6. Genuinely the biggest game of all time. You know, about $2 to $3 million going into this game. Most expensive game ever by a mile. You know, the second most expensive game was Red Dead Redemption 2, and that was only $500 million. You know, the hype is crazy. People have been waiting 13 years. They've been, pre-ordering, been already ready to cancel their jobs for that beautiful day when GTA 6 comes out. But I think GTA 6 will be a disappointment to many. And here is why. I think GTA 6 will be a great game. Maybe one of the best games of all time. But what I think the reason is why it will be such a disappointment is because the expectations are way too high. Let me explain. GTA 6 is expected to be this insane game with an infinite amount of content, the best story, the best gameplay, the most open you could ever be. But I don't think GTA 6 will live up to that hype. While it may be great, I don't think it will end up being that great. First off, people think GTA 6 will have, that infinite, insane amount of content. Now, Red Dead Redemption had around 250 hours of content to go and find and explore everything. If you do the math and calculate that, that is 10 and a half whole days around, roughly. 10 and a half whole days of content may sound like a lot, but it really isn't when it's something you play over, many, many months. And GTA 6 may have 2 or 3 times that amount of content, maybe even more, but still, all the content will eventually run out. Eventually, you'll see every building there is, you'll do every mission, every side mission. The story probably won't even be as long as you're expecting. And, all that fun and that newness feeling will eventually run out. You're going to want to go and play other games. You're going to want to check other things out. And eventually, this can't just be that only game you fixate on. Though it may be, that game for a long time. It may be great for a while. It can't be that perfect game forever. And I think people are just expecting way too much out of it. All right, moving on to my second point. The second point is that for a game to be the best game of all time, it has to have gameplay to match it. And in my opinion, Rockstar doesn't have the best track record with gameplay. Personally, I think Red Dead Redemption, their latest game, so the game we can compare the gameplay most to, had the best gameplay overall. I thought it felt pretty dated. It wasn't too different from Red Dead Redemption 1. The gameplay of GTA 6 may not be the best of all time. And I'm not the only one who thinks Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't have the best gameplay. Other creators like Penguin Zero would agree with me, and go check out his review on Red Dead Redemption if you don't believe me. Another thing about the gameplay is I think the best gameplay comes from games where there are twists to it. And maybe GTA 6 can get some of that down, but the type of game it is, a lot of times you just have machine guns, you can always go buy them. They have big ammo, there's not really an unlock or upgrade system. There's really not much progression. So the gameplay a lot of times can feel, not that unique or fun compared to other games. Especially because a lot of the time the open world gameplay isn't as good as a more linear game with gameplay. But if they somehow do fix their gameplay and fix their track record of mediocre gameplay, who knows? Maybe they can come out on top. Now, the third point I wanted to talk about is because of the story. Now, I've heard this come up a good bit, and I think the story, while it may be very good, I don't think it will be the best. According to a lot of people, they're saying this game will have the best story by a mile. But just already of what we've seen, I'm not so sure about that. The characters Jason and Lucia are a couple. Power couple, they go through their struggles together, and while we're not sure of really what the story is about yet, that dynamic just isn't as powerful as a lot of other games. For example, even GTA 5 with Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, that dynamic seemed a lot stronger and more interesting, or the dynamic of The Last of Us with Joel and Ellie, that father-daughter dynamic, also very interesting. But this Jason and Lucia dynamic doesn't seem as interesting or fun, and the story they can make out of it seems like, it's pretty predictable or has already been done before. Who knows, maybe they'll come out on top, but to me, I think a couple relationship, like the story they can do with that, their characters don't seem as interesting, and it doesn't seem it could be as intricate or great as, other games or other setups. Who knows? The game is about, around 100 some days out, and we'll see then. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think GTA 6 is going to be like, and if you think it will live up to the hype, or if it won't reach that point. See y'all.